Hello, and welcome to another episode of How to Make an Album. In this one, I'm going to talk about If It Comes to War, my song about war. I'm going to give you the thoughts behind the composition, my angle of going with sort of empathy rather than aggressivity or or sort of calling for peace, and that why I chose to compose it this way. I'm gonna talk about the music and the lyrics as well. How I made decisions to make them sort of simple and accessible and kind of drive the point home. Very try and make it very emotional and pure. So first of all, I'm from Romania, and as many of you know, our neighbor country Ukraine has been invaded in 2022 by Russia after many years of attacks by Russia. So Romania is no stranger to Russian attacks, and ever since the Second World War, we've been uh, taken over. They made us communist. They really held us back as a country, basically through what they were doing, and they're still trying to meddle in our affairs and have a significant presence, a nasty presence in our society and yeah, politics and everything. So it's kind of a very resonant thing for me. But of course, there's so many wars popping up around the world these days. Every country is going to war or something. I don't know. It's crazy. Um, Even though the Ukraine situation is much more closer to my heart somehow, I do empathize with all these people who are just being attacked, and somebody hates them enough to bomb them. Um, and like, why? So I empathize, and I thought, try to include them in the whole situation of the song. But that's kind of the what the song is all about. So let me get into it and play you the song, and then we're gonna talk about it. If it comes to war, I don't think I'll believe it. I'll spend the day reading all the crazy news. I'll tell myself this is important, scrolling endlessly, and reach the conclusion that I haven't read a single useful thing. If it comes to war, I'll probably call my father. He lives far away, but he'll know what to do. We'll grab the family, bring him to the West. Fuck this song, it's making me depressed. I feel like a dumbass, running away. I wish I had something better to say. I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. Said every fool who sold his soul, thinking that he's free. Look at us now, addicted and lied to. Arguing with trolls is a loser's battle. We used to be connected, now we're apart. We got so stupid, we think we're smart. I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. If it comes to war, I don't think I'll be ready. The first step of grief will hit me like a ton of bricks. I'll tell myself that's ridiculous. They would never do that. I'll probably deny it and justify it for a day or two. If it comes to war, it's maybe the wrong question. There's already war, and there's people there like me. Some of them fight back, and some of them flee, and some didn't make it. I wonder if it's worth it, killing and dying for what kind of idea? I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. Said every fool who sold his soul thinking that he's free. Look at us now, addicted and lied to. Arguing with trolls is a loser's battle. We could be connected, now we're apart. We filled our brains and emptied our heart. I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. So that's the song, and to start off, I wrote it around March 2025, and I mean it's been 3 years since the invasion of Ukraine, which kind of is the most important influence for this song. And it's a song about empathy, really, and not so much calling for peace. Because here's the thing, I've been listening to a lot of war songs and hearing them both in my local songwriter circle, where I'm going to open mics, and the people sometimes sing about war, right? And some take the aggressive point of view, where they're like, yeah, war, no, let's fight back, and so on. And I mean, it's all justified, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, what will aggressiveness lead to? And violence and stuff. I mean, I think it's still worth violent resistance is kind of sometimes the only way that you can make yourself heard. With enough peaceful protest, at some point it gets squashed, so you have to fight back, right, when you push to the extreme. Then there's other songwriters who are doing this very peaceful kind of, let's have peace, let's have ceasefire, no more war, this kind of message. And for sure it's something that I align with. But the problem is, when there's a aggressor attacking either an innocent party or just the victim, whether the thing is more complicated, just wishing for peace, no questions asked, can also kind of lead to basically supporting the aggressor, like give them what they want and let's have peace. Well, no, because then you're almost like rewarding the aggression. They get what they wanted. They get they keep the territories they have invaded, or what? Where will it end? Will there be another aggression later, and then we'll give them again what they want? It's like a strange thing. You want to have forgiveness, but you don't want to just give things away to the people who want to take them when they don't belong to them. And the whole idea of borders and things, land belonging to countries, seems so silly to me. So, but I mean, that's also not really what I'm approaching in this song. But it's just to say, that's why I'm not really just calling out for peace in this song. There's no unconditional peace, because there's always like what happens to the land and what happens to the things that they destroyed, and how do we rebuild, how do we love each other in the end? That's kind of the question for me, is like, can we ever reconcile with the people that were attacking us moments ago? I guess that's forgiveness, right? So anyway, that's how I got to the point of empathy. I thought to myself, well, if there was more empathy, more understanding of each other, maybe that's what we need. Because why do all these wars start? I don't know. It can be so complicated. It can be about religion and whatever differences in opinion and stupid reasons really to kill each other over, right? But it's always a lack of empathy and treating the other person as if it's just your fellow human being. And I'm thinking soldiers and people who are actually doing the fighting might share the more things in common than anyone else. But of course, the indoctrination part might make them not realize it in the moment. And then, of course, the powerful people and the rich who are just not who are not there, who are just far away and ordering the attacks and deciding things, deciding it's fine if half our people die. I mean, those people really need more empathy as well, maybe the most of all. So in the end, yeah, that's kind of my thought process in the general outline of the song. So let's get into the lyrics because I want these things to be kind of clear from the song itself. I wouldn't like to cover it in explanations, and so I hope that I'm conveying it through the lyrics. So maybe let's get into it. So to start with, if it comes to war, when I wrote it, I really put myself in his shoes. What would I do? What would be my reaction? I don't think I'll believe it. This has actually happened when in 2022, when the invasion happened. I was reading it on Reddit or whatever, Facebook, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I couldn't believe it. I thought, okay, it's like a little thing, but turns out it was a very big thing. And so I spent the day reading all the crazy news, telling myself this is important. Scrolling endless social media used to be the line. Now I've switched to scrolling endlessly. Fits a bit better with the melody. I reached the conclusion that I haven't read a single useful thing. I mean, that's not really true because, at least I got a little bit informed about it, right? It's kind of good to be informed. But at the same time, how much am I going to read about it until I realize I'm just repeating stuff and getting fed with all kinds of algorithmic propaganda and nonsense from every weird source. Not to say that everything you read on the internet is propaganda, but a lot of it is, and it's very important to try to make the difference and to try to figure out the source of information. Is it all made up, or is it journalism that's taken into account real events and sort of worthwhile sources and analysis? Is it sponsored by any government or company or whatever? There's some kind of ulterior motive why they are pushing a certain message. Those are all important questions, and nowadays even the conspiracy people and the propaganda people are using these arguments to promote their propaganda. They're like, oh, think for yourself, and then they spew the biggest nonsense you ever heard, as if that's what you should be thinking for yourself, right? So the important thing is to read. I don't even know what to say about it. It's like, you gotta know what's going on, but you gotta be skeptical and find the trustworthy sources, find the ulterior motive, and then judge based on that. Why are people saying a certain thing? So anyway, if it comes to war, I'll probably call my father. He lives far away, but he'll know what to do. I guess I don't really explain this in the song, but I'm living in Denmark, and my family is back in Romania. And this is kind of the real scenario. What I would probably do, I guess, is almost what I did back in 2022. I think I called him and was like, "Well, did you hear about this stuff?" But it's also a little bit used as a songwriting thing to share this feeling. I mean, everybody can empathize calling your father, whether it's a possibility for you or not. And that's the sentiment that I'm going for. And so far, I've been playing it to some people, and Everybody seems to resonate also with this line. Grab the family, bring them to the west. F this song is making me depressed. Feel like a dumbass running away. I wish I had something smarter to say, used to be the line. But somebody gave me the good advice to not undercut my own message and call myself too much as a stupid person or whatever, because I do have something smart to say according to the person giving me the feedback. So, I'm going with that. I'm going with something better to say, because I do wish I had a solution to all of this that doesn't just involve, well, I hope it all works out, and I hope the attackers finally see that it's wrong to kill people that you don't agree with and steal their land. So, yeah, it is pretty much also about, you can just run away, but when is it gonna end? Because you can only run away until you have somewhere to go. I mean, if Denmark was attacked, I don't know where I would go. I guess I'll go to Romania. But if Denmark gets attacked, forget about Romania, you know what I mean? So, heavy, heavy stuff. And then I don't believe that it can ever happen to me is a feeling that I also kind of feel half the time. And then of course I continue with said every fool who sold his soul thinking that he's free, both because it rhymes and because I'm kind of calling out everybody who kind of resonates with I don't believe it can ever happen to me. And nobody wants to admit that they sold their soul, but once you do, you're very happy to admit that you've been a fool, right? So I think that's fine for this line. Also, it rhymes, so it's always a nice thing. But I'm not forcing any rhymes in this song. If it happens, it happens. If not, so be it. Look at us now, addicted and lied to. Arguing with trolls is a loser's battle. We used to be connected, now we're apart. We got so stupid, we think we're smart. I'm taking the angle a bit of the cyber warfare rather than the real physical warfare. And it's an important thing to me because the internet has been a big part of my life, a way to connect with everybody around the world and even with my close friends and everything. And getting in touch with the rest of the world, making the world a bit smaller, a bit cozier, a bit more connected. That's such a beautiful thing. And then it's kind of been taken over by trolls, it's been weaponized as propaganda, and with censorship happening in places like Russia, but also like famously China and many other places, I suppose. It just leads to such a corruption of the beautiful idea of connecting the world. And we got so stupid we think we're smart, I mean, everybody's met somebody who believes some utter nonsense, but they believe it with such fervor, and they even have arguments that they think make sense. And it's like, what are you talking about? In Romanian we have a saying that prostul nu e prost destul dacă nu e și fudul. It's the stupid is not stupid enough unless they're also proud of it. So I feel like that a lot when arguing with somebody or talking to somebody who really believes some conspiracy or some nonsense like whatever, supporting Russia for any reason as a country, I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. That's the chorus. And I give a little instrumental here. But not too long, because the idea is you have a bit of time to let this sink in. But it's not such a song where you really want to go with solos and stuff. But I think the melody is pretty strong. And it's kind of catchy, kind of outlining the chords. If it comes to war, you can almost hear the song without any of the other stuff in it. It kind of tells the story just from the melody, which is something I really am seeking when I analyze or when I compose a melody. I want it to tell to give the full picture, including of the harmony and the rhythm and the essence of the song. So I feel like with this one I got pretty close. Although of course there's a lot of repetitive stuff in the way I'm kind of abusing the this kind of churchy feeling. But you know, you gotta say stop somewhere. So that's what I got so far. Then I had trouble really coming up with the final two verses of this song, because at first actually I had this line. This used to be the second verse. If it comes to war, I don't think I'll be ready. The first step of grief will hit me like a ton of bricks, and it really felt this way again when the Ukraine invasion happened in 2022. And I remember I made another song around that time that was pretty close to this fear of war feeling. And that was just before the invasion happened, and then it happened. Then I spent the whole week really not doing anything else than reading news. I'll tell myself that's ridiculous. They would never do that. I wish it wasn't the case, but I really kind of experienced these thoughts when the freaking invasion happened. I'll probably deny it and justify it for a day or two. If it comes to war, it's maybe the wrong question. So now because I didn't know how to round it off. It's completely depressing song, you know, and it's really the line with this song making me depressed. This is the third verse that I wrote, but it fits good with the Call My Father to be early on in the song, because it kind of hits you in the emotion. But then to round it off, I asked some songwriter friends for feedback and stuff, and many people said they wanted a little bit more positive resolution or something to give them some hope. And I definitely feel like that's a good thing too, but maybe it's not really always possible. So and also I hadn't expressed this thing about maybe it's not the right question to, or the right thing to say, if it comes to war, because there is already war. It's already happening, and we're just not ready for it and reacting to it somehow in slow motion. Some of us, me at least. So I wrote this actually earlier today and yesterday, before making this video. If it comes to war, it's maybe the wrong question. There's already war, and there's people there like me. Some of them fight back, some of them flee, and some didn't make it. And I mean, yeah, I really hate using this situation as a compositional aid, but I mean, think about the people dying in the war. Civilians and innocent people, and even the soldiers and whoever it is. For that matter, even the attackers who don't even know better. They just go there from love of their country, which clearly doesn't give a crap about them, sending them to die just for a handful of land. And of course, I don't have any good feelings about people who hate other people and attack them and kill them, but that's like saying you judging stupid people for being stupid. It's not always their choice. That's how their mind works. They're just laws. Of course, you gotta keep people responsible for their actions, but you can't help but feel like they're just being tools and tricked by the circumstance to do what they're doing, and they're thinking they're doing the better thing. I guess, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they know what they're doing is evil and they just decided it's okay and they prefer it. I don't know, it's really terrible to think, but I kind of have a little bit more hope in people. So it's a little something about those who didn't make it. I wonder if it's worth it, killing and dying, for what kind of idea? I'm not sure about these lines. This is what I came up with so far. I had a few other versions, like, it makes me wonder, I hate nobody, how could anyone hate me? That was one of the lines. But I'm making it too much about myself in this case, so I thought maybe that's not really fitting. Also, I do understand how somebody can hate me, even though it's really a crappy thing to do. I don't hate anybody, but I can understand religious fanatics hating somebody who is not religious, because I've seen it and I've vaguely experienced it, although it's never been so extreme. Even because in Romania it's Orthodox Christianity, and in Christianity it's a big thing about loving your neighbor and being nice to everybody. But then at the same time, in reality, a lot of Christians do harbor hate for other people who are different, and it's so dissonant and it's so weird to me how this can live in a person's brain. At the same time, loving your fellow human being and all these things about forgiveness and so on, but then also hating somebody for being gay or being atheist or believing in a different god or whatever. So I do understand how other people can hate each other for stupid beliefs that they have, then they grew up with and they believe. I mean, that's beliefs are defined as not having to have a rational reason. You just believe it. So that's not a good line. But I wonder if it's worth it killing and dying for what kind of idea? I mean, it's a weird line because what I do want to express is that it is worth dying for protecting an ideal and protecting others. That's kind of like a sacrifice. That's doing the right thing, sometimes. If you can save so many other people, maybe it's worth your sacrifice. Of course, it's tragic, but I don't want to diminish that part, for instance. But then, of course, is it worth killing for an idea? That's a very dirty one, because how about talking about it? You know what I mean? How about presenting the idea and suggesting it? Have you tried that before getting to killing? So, yeah, don't support killing, obviously. But what if you killed somebody who wants to kill you for a stupid reason, and you're protecting all these people you're protecting by killing? Then of course you're doing this awful thing to kill. But what's the alternative? You sacrifice yourself for what and how? And yeah, it's a very tough topic. So, but that's kind of what I reached to this. I wonder if it's worth it, killing and dying for what kind of idea? Because I don't support killing, but I do understand to some degree when people hate, and I wish they wouldn't, but I don't know how I could ever convince them rationally, because the beliefs that lead them to doing murderous things are not born out of rationality. They're born out of something else, usually very strong emotion and upbringing, and maybe a lot of manipulation and propaganda and stuff. So, final chorus. Don't believe that it can ever happen to me. To be honest, I felt like the song was pretty much fine with 2 verses, 1 chorus, and maybe ended there, or having 1 more verse. But I managed to write this 4th verse at the end with there's already war and there's people there like me. I think it really drives home the idea of empathy, and I guess it could go without this 3rd verse, just having the last one. If you have any thoughts about it, leave it in the comments. I'm thinking that it gives something to have this. Probably deny it and justify it. It is kind of really a feeling that I've been through. So yeah, but the final chorus has a little bit different thing. Look at us now, addicted and lied to, arguing with trolls is a loser's battle. We could be connected, now we're apart, instead of we used to be connected. Gives a little bit more hopeful thing, and sometimes I mess it up and I just say we used to instead of we could. But it should be we could be connected, now we're apart. We filled our brain but emptied our heart. That's a little rhymey thing. but again, it speaks more to empathy than to the brain and to we think we're smart and so on. It's not so much criticism. It's talking about it's too much thinking and not enough love and empathy and understanding, and it's too much justifying things and justifying conflicts and trying to find a way that you can yeah, when in the end it could easily be solved by saying forget all that shit, let's get all together and be cool, find a way to coexist. Paradox of tolerance aside, I don't believe that it can ever happen to me. And then end the song. So if I talk a little bit about the composition, I wanted to keep the words pretty simple and the music pretty simple in order to really touch the audience as much as possible, because the important thing is it sounds good, right? But a simple song that everybody can understand will potentially be more effective in conveying the emotions and the message that I have to say than if I try to find some really jazzy stuff to put in it. Maybe some people will not really resonate because it's too much to focus on. So the choice is very deliberate. I have pretty much 3 chords. Well, not really. I guess I have a bit more. I have the C major, D major without any funny business, and G, E minor. Simple pop chords. Maybe sometimes the A in here and D, B minor. So it's all very diatonic, which means using all the notes from the main key. I'm not sure that's what diatonic means, but that's what I'm trying to say. Using simple chords, simple notes. Yeah. And oh yeah, I think the composition works pretty nicely. I just don't really know how to play it very well on the guitar because it's so I mean, I think it works pretty well also on the guitar, if only I could learn it a bit better. And it has that really good intimate feeling, I mean, that a guitar can do. I mean, compared to a piano, I feel like more people can resonate just because the guitar is so much more ubiquitous in people's homes, and if you can make a simple composition that is only played around here with simple chords, I think that's also a powerful thing because people could potentially learn it and sing it easily. If it comes to war, don't think I'll believe it. So you can also do it like this, simple. You don't have to do the whole melody thing. Reading all the crazy news, and you can even do the thing. So I'm pretty happy with that, but I did write the song on the piano, just to say, as a fun fact. And when it comes to the version for the album, I don't know yet how I'm gonna do it, but I have a feeling that a lot of the songs will be piano centric, and it may be more honest for me to do it like that. And for this song, with not so many bells and whistles, just piano and voice, really seems like solid option. But then, of course, because of the theme and the intensity of it, it does potentially support something like a cello, something that has that tear-jerking, drive the point home kind of sound that really kind of punctuates. Maybe a bass, maybe a cello, like I said, maybe something like that. Maybe a guitar as well for the texture of it. Been thinking about it, and I have to find the people who would want to do it or play it myself on the guitar. But that's a problem for, let's say, next week, or I guess a bit later. We'll see. But that's the composition part. Not much else to say. Those are the deliberate things. Simple notes, communicating the emotion through the movement in the melody. So they would never do that. Fits because it's going, really reaches a kind of sad moment. Whereas the single useful thing kind of brings up a little bit the energy if it comes to war. And yeah, having this positive sounding notes and melody to such a sad message creates a nice contrast, creates a dissonance in the head that I find very interesting. Happy songs with sad music or sad songs with happy music, they are always kind of interesting. Yeah, so that's what I have to say for the music part. So I hope the video was not too long and depressing, but thank you for watching, and I look forward to another few videos of the other songs, and then to more talk about the album in general and starting to produce. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.